what's up? It's Sean Baligian.
What up? This is Joique Bell here on the Baligian and Bell Show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network.
It does. I think it doubled in size and presence.
This is awesome. Honestly, it absolutely warms my heart. The one thing that I will say about this, and these are not just words, Joique, you've been around here for a long time now. The way this area mounts up when there's something to do, whether it be a charity, whether it be donating toys, it never, ever, ever ceases to amaze me. This studio is packed with toys right now. I don't even know, like Corey, I don't know how much people can see right now, watching on the stream, but it's unbelievable. It was funny because Joey and Stick told me, Joique, that there were some kids that came in last night, and you got to remember, for kids, this has got to be the greatest thing ever to see all these toys around a beautiful tree and everything. And the kids didn't even know where to put the toys. And again, this is all going to kids that need this stuff. It's beautiful.
And remind you guys that I posted yesterday on my IG, I believe it's on my Facebook as well, that the PS5 giveaway that we're doing, see how you can win it. Go to my page, see what you have to do, and enter the contest. So this is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing. And you know what? I wasn't able to do my shop with the cop or my shop with 35 this year because of the pandemic. But being able to be a part of this is it's a great feeling. It is. So, and for people who don't know, every year I do like a shop with a cop back in Benton Harbor with a friend. Actually, he was an officer. He came to me one year and he asked me if I can help fund their shop with the cops. So they'll go around the community, they'll have certain kids, and they'll all come out, and the cop will go with each kid and go shopping. And this particular year, they didn't have funding for it, so he reached out to me. He said, listen, George, we want to take out 25 kids, but we don't have the funding this year. Will you be able to do it? I said, under one condition. And he said, what is that? I said, change it from 25 kids to 35 kids.
My man.
And
Number 35, my man.
And so we changed it to 35, and we've been doing it every year since I think 2013, I think, or 14, around that time. And I love it. And then I do one here in Detroit where it's kind of like we're shop with 35, and I bring out 35 kids here. And some years we might even do veterans, and we grab the veterans and we take the veterans on a shopping spree, depending on what store I team up with. It's usually Myers, but yeah, I love it. So, and actually I think Myers gave us that PS5 to donate.
Yep.
Look at that.
Beautiful stuff. Appreciate it. And you know what? You guys as well, so cool that you're coming out here, and the offer stands. I wrote Joique into this, and Joique's like, totally cool, totally cool. You come down, you bring some toys, and the man's here. He'll pose for a picture, whatever you need or anything like that. So it's so cool how many toys there are. You guys already have been outstanding, but let's do more. Let's do more. These cats are staying here. I'm not
overnight.
Like, that's real, Joique.
That's real. They have blankets. They have the movie screen up. They have the couch here.
Yeah, let me see. Did they pull that stuff out of the studio? I came in this morning. I'm not.
It's right here.
Yeah, Joique's
The
not
pillows.
lying. I mean, they got pillows and blankets here. They're literally staying here.
They sleep in here,
right?
To get presents for the kids. Look at that.
How cool is that?
Can't beat it.
Absolutely.
Can't beat it.
Anthony said, Joique, check your IG. I sent you the link to the Russian 5 doc on YouTube. There you go.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
That's really cool. Thank you. Jenna said she's going to see us soon. Jenna, appreciate it.
Good
Derek,
morning.
hey, gents, what up? No, glad you guys are all here. As always, we have so much.
You see, Scott?
What's
First time
Scott
listening. First time listening in, watching today. Excellent show. You got me hooked.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate that, Scott.
We're having fun. You know, that's to me, that's the biggest thing for me is have fun. You know, we're going to talk sports. We're going to try to give back any opportunity we can.
We're talking sports. We're talking Detroit. We're talking everything in the community, whether it's businesses, sports, educational purposes. We're bringing in people to talk about marijuana. People coming in talking about financial literacy. We're going to have it all here, but it is Woodward Sports Network, so we do have to talk sports.
You know what's funny, Joique? I got this before. I kid you not. I was doing the Lions postgame show. I have to mention something that just came up on Facebook. We're reading the comments off of Facebook. Pretty soon, we're working on this. You got to remember, this is a new venture. We want to have a platform where we can read all the comments in live time as they come up, whether it be off of Twitter, whether it be off of YouTube, whether it be off of Facebook. But on Facebook, somebody said to me, Steve said, Sean looks like a Packer fan. I heard that before. And let me explain to you, and I'll turn around and show you in a second. Joique, you already know the answer to this, I'm sure. Last year I was doing the Lions postgame show for the radio station that I work for, and we were, live at the bar inside Ford Field and everything, and people were like, what the hell are you wearing Packer colors for? Like, are you a Packer fan or anything? And Joique, come on, look at that. Right there, you see the back?
Hunter, do you see that Wayne State on the back? That's not Green Bay Packers.
It's all about the W.
It's all about the
W. It's all about the W. That's what it is. I swear it's not Packers.
What was the first year of Wayne State? Was it 1919?
Yeah, I think that was it. 1918?
Around that time?
Jeff Weiss will text us in a second because he knows everything.
And Green Bay came into existence when? The football, the Packers?
Gotta be the 34?
34?
Maybe, yeah, 34.
So is it safe to say that Wayne State had those colors long before?
Good call. Yeah, green and gold. Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
So we had these colors long before the Cheeseheads?
Yes.
So let's not disrespect my alma mater like that. Let's not do that with Wayne State University, green and gold.
Epic Monday night game. We are going to get to that. I made the joke on Twitter last night. I felt like I was a little kid and Dad was letting me stay up late because I'm not going to lie to you. More often than not on Monday night, I'm asleep on the couch at some point in time during the fourth quarter. I don't know how it happened. I don't know when it happened. Maybe some of you guys can relate to that. Joique, you're still a young man, so I don't know if you're there yet. But in the last few years, I've turned into the guy that my heart is there, my intent is there, but somewhere around 10:45, 11 o'clock, I'm out like last night, dialed in. I felt like a little kid watching that game.
You did.
Great football game, man. Really was.
Question. No, this is a question. So you have a quarterback. Who are you going with, Lamar Jackson, or are you going with Baker? The leads your team. Who are you going with?
Lamar.
You going Lamar? I want to argue with you
Baker?
there. I thought, huh?
You're going Baker?
No, I'm going Lamar. Okay. But I want to argue with you a little bit.
You know what? Hold that thought on Lamar Jackson. And because as much of a science as the NFL draft is and judging guys, you're certainly an exception to the rule. Joique Bell was undrafted. Come on now. You got a bunch of guys, it's their job to evaluate talent. And anybody that saw Joique play was like, I told anybody that would listen, the guy was going to play in the NFL. I knew it. He was the best player in Division II. In my mind, it wasn't close. But a giant miss by all the talent evaluators, right? Lamar Jackson. This is a guy not that long ago, okay? Sick player. A guy that I voted for the Heisman. I'm a Heisman voter. I voted for him for the Heisman. And everybody's talking about, well, I'm not sure his skill set translates to the NFL.
And then what happens?
Maybe he should think about playing receiver or D-back. I know that sounds familiar to you, and it's like, how are all these smart people so wrong about a guy who's been dynamic?
Because they're so dialed into the traditional quarterback, right? And then you have a Lamar Jackson who comes in, and he'll be good for the first couple of years, but eventually he's going to have to use his arm. But his arm talent isn't bad. His arm talent is pretty good. Last year, MVP. This year, the numbers aren't there, but he still is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL today. If I had to go with a quarterback, I got to go with Lamar.
That play that he made coming back on the field,
Come back on the field.
where everybody and their brother thought he was going to run, and he knew damn well that everybody and their brother thought he was going to run,
Right.
and he takes off on that sprint and then just stops and, you know, it was like playing in the backyard. It was like, are you kidding? It was a great watch, man. That was a fantastic watch.
It was a great game. It was a great game. I mean, from when they went down by 14 and Baker Mayfield was able to bring the team back and tie it up, that's when I said, oh, this is going to be a game. I couldn't turn it off.
Baker's got some moxie, by the way.
I love.
He won me over because I wasn't sure about him. I got to be honest with you.
I've always liked Baker.
Have you?
Yeah, I've always liked him. Never. I mean, it was just him trying to figure things out. But be patient. They were patient, and I like him. I like his attitude fits the Browns organization and that team, and they feed off of that, and his teammates feed off of him. So when he scored a touchdown and he threw the ball, and because you think, I think he might have did that because Lamar Jackson, when he scored, you know how he throws the ball into the back of the end zone. So Baker Mayfield did that as well when he scored and kind of, you know, got his team into it. And I actually thought then that was like, okay, the momentum, you know, is shifted. They might pull it out. But that Lamar Jackson came back and,
Sickening.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, just sickening.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about this too is if the Browns had any kind of defense, how dangerous they might be. Like on it, they don't have any defense. I mean, you saw it a couple weeks in a row. They got that big lead on Tennessee, and then Tennessee was able to fly back. And let's face it, Tennessee doesn't exactly have the high octane offense that Lamar and the Ravens can bring. So, you know, hey, listen, big step up for the Browns. They'll be fun to watch for years coming because they got a lot of pieces there. DPJ, you know, a local guy as well, Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'm telling you, Joique, they're going to be fun to watch for years to come. And you nailed it. I missed it. Baker's the real deal. You got to give that guy his love. Got to give him his love.
Got to give it to him.
Yep, no doubt. All right, so we're going to talk about that. We have our NFL top 5 coming up. I'm sure that you saw the story about the search for the coach and the GM. I want to get Joique Bell's thoughts on that. A little more housekeeping to take care of before we get into some of that other stuff. Again, you're going to get sick and tired of me saying this, but we're going to be talking about this all week. It really is the most wonderful time of the year, and we're trying to make it the most wonderful time of the year for a lot of kids out there that otherwise wouldn't be feeling that way. Yeah. We're filling the studio full of toys, and if you come down, you bring a toy, we're not only going to be very appreciative and make sure that it gets into the hands of somebody, a needy child, whether it be a female, whether it be a male. But you can meet the man. The man is so cool. He'll say, hey, let's take a picture, whatever the case may be.
Let's do it.
There's something else coming up. We have so many little surprises coming up with Woodward Sports. I mean, it's something to be so excited about. Is this really happening on Christmas Eve? Is that what I'm hearing, this Call of Duty?
Oh, this is, okay.
I got to get this down, man.
Okay. So, you know, I've been on my Call of Duty for quite some time now. I'll probably say just only since April, so I haven't been into it. I think I might have bought the Black Ops when that came out a couple years back, and then initially I ended up buying it. Yep. I think I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, they're calling out Joique right now. That is a warning that says Joique is bringing a bunch of ringers in here. So that's what's going on right now.
Yeah. So anyway, so keep talking about it.
Yep.
So hopefully, I mean, the window's right here, so we should be fine. We good? We good, Stick?
Turn the mics off at least. That's loud. No, we can leave the mics on.
All right, it's gone.
Did you guys break the internet? What the hell just happened?
Well, that was the alarm that screams that Joique's bringing in.
Bringing in some ringers.
He's bringing in some ringers for the Call of Duty.
For art.
Oh, for art?
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
For Call of Duty. So I put out that, you know, I've been on Call of Duty. I'm getting pretty good, but I'm only used to really playing like Plunder and multiplayer. I'm not really into Battle Royale yet. I got to get my kill streaks up. But I guess Art caught wind of it.
Yeah.
And so he said, you know what, let's have a competition. And so I reached out to one guy And if I can pull this guy, I don't think he has a shot.
He's bringing in ringers.
I reached out to one. I reached out, so I have my team already, but I have one guy I want to bring on. If we can get this guy on, I don't think he has a shot.
I think it's Joique's mission to make everybody that works here at Woodward Sports look like assholes. You're gonna whoop Art's ass in COD. You whooped Joey's ass. And we still got to do our competition, which I'm assuming I'm going to get my ass whooped.
Nah, you're not going to get it. I'm telling you, we just need to get a ping pong table in this room right here.
I need it.
It'll be here by next week.
I need it.
Okay.
I promise. I'll get a ping pong table for everybody.
Everyone, we're going to hold him to it. Stick said that he'll have the ping pong table, not here, but set up in this room right here.
Yep. And I got a long wingspan, man. You're not going to be able to beat me in ping pong.
All right.
Hey, Stick, seriously, how did it go last night? Come back up here.
Okay.
I mean, I wish we could get a shot.
About it.
I mean, Joey, Chrissy, Stick, we're all here all night.
Yep.
I mean, it's so cool what you guys are doing. We got the pillows and the blankets. How did it go?
We had people dropping off toys till about 11 o'clock at night last night, and it was great. I mean, families coming in, all their, like, my buddy Burns brought his 3 little boys in.
Yeah.
A couple, that's really the fun part is when the little kids walk in here, because they've never seen a pile of toys this big.
Right,
I've never seen a pile of toys this big. So they're like this big. They walk in, toys are piled higher than their heads, and they love it. And that, to me, that's the magic of this.
That's
when
the
the
magic.
kids come in, they get to place the toy where they want it.
That's priceless.
Yeah, they pick out their own little spot, and then you can imagine the faces of the kids that are going to receive these toys, too, at the C.S. Motts Children's Hospital. So it's just been a lot of fun. Sleeping here, not so fun, but we wanted to be here around the clock, so if anybody got off work at 2 a.m., couldn't get by because it's Detroit. We do late-night shifts here. So come on by, tap on the window, wake us up, and we're happy to take the toys. But as you can see, it's been going great so far.
Oh, it's awesome.
And we got an extra $3,000 in our Venmo from people donating money. So on Wednesday, tomorrow, we're gonna go back to Meijer with $3,000 more and buy more toys.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how long are you guys going to be here? How long can people keep dropping stuff off?
Friday at 3 p.m. is when the charities are gonna come collect all the toys. So if you can get here before then, that's amazing. And like I said, if you can't make it here physically, we've had people from out of state wondering how. The Venmo, it's just at Woodward Sports.
All right.
Great stuff.
Yeah, thank you guys
That's
so
great.
much.
We have one more question that we get a lot of feedback on.
Yes.
When do we pick out a winner
For the PlayStation?
for the PS5?
Yeah, that is gonna happen Monday.
Monday.
So
what time?
We'll probably do it. You guys want to do it during your show?
Hey,
you wanna
let's
announce
do
the
it.
winner?
Whatever works for you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Let's announce the
Let's
winner.
do it.
All right, we're doing it.
We're announcing the winner during
your show.
During the Baligian and Bell show, Monday afternoon, morning, late morning, early afternoon. So make sure you tune in to see who wins.
Yeah, because we want to give it away, obviously, before the holidays, so that way, whoever wins it can put it under the tree, wrap it up for their kids. I mean, these things are impossible to find.
Absolutely.
Impossible. Like, Meijer hooked it up. They had one in the back. It was just eligible to go on sale, and they're like, while you guys are here shopping, would you like this? We were like, yes. So they want to do good things. It's the Royal Oak Meijer, too, specifically, that helped us out, so thank them.
All right, so now where's that location?
It's literally right down here. It's 15 and Coolidge.
15 and Coolidge.
Between 14 and 15 on Coolidge, yep.
All right, make sure everyone goes on and support that Myers
Yep.
on 15 and Coolidge.
Yep, and the one on 8 Mile and Woodward.
8 Mile-
I mean, all
8
the
Mile
Myers are great, but that's the one that specifically hooked
I
us up.
usually do all of my shopping events at the Woodward and 8 Mile one.
Yeah,
Usually.
That's a beautiful Meyer.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I love what they did with that area.
All right,
so thank you guys.
Jenna, who is a wonderful human being,
Yeah,
wants
she's
to
on
know,
the way.
Do you want me to bring you guys any snacks for tonight?
I mean, I'm not going to turn down snacks. This is not what you do. Yeah, I love snacks. So, yeah, I ate popcorn last night that Derek dropped by. So, it's just been a whole community effort.
Jenna, bring some snacks up here. Bring some
Yeah, no
some
doubt about
bottled
it. Thanks,
water.
Stick.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Jenna said she Googled it, and the first Packers team off of Google says it was 1919, their first season.
And
And so
Wayne State's even earlier.
Yeah, 1918.
Our boy Mr. Ritter also chimed in and said thanks for repping the W. So
Always.
we needed to throw
You know
that
what,
out
I'm
there.
gonna wear
Thank you very much.
Wayne State Wednesdays, What Up Though Wednesday. I'm gonna wear my Wayne State shirt. I'm gonna wear my Wayne State
Okay.
gear.
You still have your jerseys?
Yeah, but they're framed.
Are they?
Yeah.
You don't have one just to?
No, it's framed. No. I don't.
How many frames do you have?
In my house?
Yeah.
I have to count.
For real, that many?
Yeah, I'll have to count.
No kidding.
Of myself,
Yeah.
probably I have 3 in my office of from Wayne State, to the Senior Bowl jersey, and then the Lions jersey.
Okay.
And then upstairs, I have like 2 before I go into like my bonus room.
Yeah.
With and then all my teammates who I play with are all in there.
Oh, awesome.
They're all in there. So
That's
I
awesome.
probably have close to about 12.
No
in that
kidding.
round. 12
Good
in
for
there.
you, dude.
Yeah. I gotta, and there's guys that I either play with or respected enough to go get their jersey. So, like Calvin Johnson, Levy, Reggie. I was a fan of Jacoby Jones too.
Yeah.
But never played it. But just that 109-yard kickoff return in the Super Bowl. I was like, dang. So when I played against him, I wanted his jersey, so he let me get it. I think the most memorable one that I got though was probably the Defensive Player of the Year of the 2015 season. That was Eric Berry.
No kidding.
Eric Berry. I got his jersey.
Did you make a trade, or did you just say?
Trade. No, we made a trade. So
Brilliant.
I gave him mine. He gave me his. We were with the same agency, and so I knew people were on our team was going to want his jersey. So I went through my agency and said, "Listen, tell Eric." Actually, I think I texted him. I think I told my agency. So I said, "Listen, tell Eric I want his jersey after the game when we play in London. I want it." They reached out to him, then I texted him as well. I said, "Listen, bro, we swapping jerseys at the end of the game, so make sure you don't give it to anyone." And it was one person who was really upset with me for getting it.
Who was it?
I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
I'll tell you in a second.
All right.
So the game is going on, and they beat us good. I mean, they just beat us. And after the game, we linked up, and as I'm walking towards him, he's talking to another player. And then he said, "Listen, bro, let's swap our jerseys." And this is what the other player is saying. He said, "Oh, I can't do it. I already promised it to another player." And the other guy said, "Who? And he said, "Oh, my guy Joique." And he said, "Joique, you don't even play DB. Like, why would you do that? I wouldn't play the Vikings and get AP jersey." I said, "I never got AP jersey." And so, but it was Glover Quinn. Glover Quinn wanted his jersey, but I didn't know that.
Great dude.
Great dude. GQ is one of my top. I'm saying as far as consistency and being a great teammate, Glover Quinn is definitely up there. But that's one jersey that I got that I will always respect, especially coming back off of having cancer and then missing the previous season, and then coming back and then getting Defensive Player of the Year. That was amazing. I was happy for him.
You know what's funny? I couldn't help, and I'm sorry to bring this up to you, pal, but I have to share this with you. I couldn't help watching that game last night and watching Justin Tucker go out there and hit that 55-yard field goal. I couldn't help but think about that Monday night game you guys had against the Ravens, where that SOB went up there and hit a 61-yarder. How fresh is that to you? That Monday night game, because that was just
that was 2013.
13, yeah.
2013.
I'm watching that game. I'm having so much fun watching this game because you know what the coolest thing about? I had zero rooting interest. Like it was one of those games. It was like I don't have anything against the Browns. I don't have anything against the Ravens. I don't really like the Browns. I don't really like. So it was cool to actually watch a game because it doesn't happen that often where you don't have a rooting interest. I had zero rooting interest. I was just enjoying the game.
Enjoying the game.
You know what I mean?
Enjoying football.
And it was funny because like then as it kind of went on, I got to be honest, I was kind of pulling for the Ravens because it was the Lamar thing. I was going, okay, he's back on the field.
It was going back and forth. Yeah.
Now we got that human interest story and everything. But then when Justin went out and hit that field goal, it was like for a split second wow, what a great game. I was like, oh, this reminds me of that game in 2013. Right around the same time. It was right before Christmas and everything. Yeah. And that 61-yarder, man. And it's tough.
That was the first year. That was the first year without Ray that year too, right? Because he retired 12.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think I played him one time.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl, right? They won the Super Bowl and then he retired.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's how it worked out.
That was Flacco.
Yeah. Because they beat the Harbaughs. The Harbaughs were playing each other.
They were. And that was the talk of the town. That's when the lights went off.
Yeah.
That was at the Superdome.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. That's still nuts. How does that happen?
Yeah, lights just went off.
But I mean,
and they came back because they were losing.
Yeah.
And they came back.
Oh yeah.
They needed that.
Oh yeah. Now, when you were a kid, were you one of those kids? Did you stay up? I have a story, and my dad's a cop. You can appreciate this. I have a story about getting busted watching a game because sometimes my dad would let me stay up, but he would always say, and you got to remember, Monday Night Football when I was a kid was on at 9. I mean, kickoff was literally a little bit after 9. So my dad would say, all right, you can stay up till halftime because, Howard Cosell would have this highlight package. And if he talked about the Lions, it was the greatest day ever, because you didn't have SportsCenter and all those things. So sometimes he'd let me stay up even later, but he'd always say to me, I don't want to hear any bitching in the morning, nothing. Don't give me any complaining. I don't want to hear I'm tired. And I'd go, yeah, Dad, sure, whatever. And then inevitably in the morning, Dad, I'm tired. Can I stay home? And everything. So he learned the hard way, and he would say, you got to go to bed. I'm not dealing with this. So I was a weasel. I would go in my room, and I had a little TV in my room, and obviously the lights are off, but when you turn the TV on, right, it illuminates the room.
Right.
So I would take a towel, true story, I would take a towel and put it underneath the door, so it made it look like it was dark, right, and watch the Monday night games. And I would do that for Monday night games, and like playoff games were on at night. Right. I got away with it for probably 4 years. And then he busted me. One day he busted me. He happened to come in the room because I yelped because a game that I was watching, ended like in overtime. It was a hockey game. And I literally went, oh, like that. So I hear him coming down the hall and I'm going, it's over. I'm done. And he walks in and he's giving me the 3rd degree. And he goes like this. He goes, I think somebody forgot what I do for a living. Like that, like, ha-ha, I'm a cop. I'm going to find you out. And I'm like, Dad, I've been doing this for 4 years. You're not a good cop. You just can't stop yourself from being a smart mouth. So then he checked on me all the time. But, was that your experience? I had to stay up and watch these games as a kid, man.
No.
Not at all?
Not at all. Not at all. We didn't have cable, so.
Oh, for real?
No, we didn't have cable.
Okay.
And I didn't have a TV in my room. Lucky you. But
it was like this little box, too. It was so fun. I wish I had that TV just to save it for posterity,
Golly, no, we didn't have none of that. So, but what we did have, we had, I don't know if I might be dating myself, but we used to have this thing, you didn't need cable for it. Every Saturday they had this, these series of shows, of cartoons that would come on in the morning. And they called it One Saturday Morning. Okay. One Saturday morning. You remember that? You remember that?
Corey just breaks out in a giggle. He breaks out in a giggle.
So we'll have they have recess, they have the weekenders, they have like hang time, they have, what was another show they had on there? Those are 3 I used to love to watch. So it would come on, and then I was the youngest, and so my sister would have me knock on my parents' door and ask if we can come in, because the TV was in their room. So we'll have to ask to go in their room to watch this show. But honestly, this is like some of the best times of my life. Like going outside with a tennis racket and hitting rocks across the street. And we had like this one bush in front of our house that had like a hornet's nest in it, or a wasp nest. And she took a tennis racket while I'm hitting rocks across the street. She goes to hitting at it, and these bees come out, or these hornets come out, or wasps, whatever they were, I don't know. We run into the house. She closes the door as I'm approaching it and locks the door. And I guess you know what happened there. Mm-hmm. I get stung in my head. And my dad was so insensitive. I said, Dad, I got stung. Am I gonna die? Yeah, son. Go lay down. Yeah, son. Go lay down. So I go take a nap, and I wake up and I hear like voices. I hear laughter in the air. So I wake up, and it's my mom, and I said, because I woke up, I thought I was in heaven. I thought I died. Like I thought I was in heaven. And I go out there, my mom laughing with her friends, and we kind of laughed about it. And then, the stories like that, man, it was hilarious, man. Love it, man.
No doubt.
Good times.
Greg said, I remember one Saturday morning.
You do?
There's another one.
What show did you like, Greg? What was your favorite show? Mine was Recess. I love Recess. So, do you remember Recess?
No.
All right, so Recess is like a cartoon of kids in elementary school, and they're like the big dogs of the school, and they have like preschooler kindergartens, and you have like the 6th graders who were like like the big people on campus. So, and they have like different tribulations and in the show what they have to go through. So, but it was a good show. I loved it. So yeah. So that was my every Saturday. I had to watch it.
No kidding.
Every Saturday. If it wasn't a game day, then I was watching one Saturday morning.
Kenny said, my room was upstairs and had this balcony so I could see downstairs and secretly watch the Monday and Sunday night games. Oh my gosh. What a great scam that is. Because my scam ended is the second I got busted, and because of my smart mouth, my dad checked on me for the next couple of years. So I mean I missed out. It blew. No doubt about that. Nick said, I love that show as well. Recess. Corey with a K, are you familiar with Recess?
Yes, he is.
That is honestly the reason I have Disney Plus.
No kidding.
Yeah, I watch Recess. I watch all the old cartoons from one Saturday morning.
It's a couple shows that used to come on. You remember back in the day where HBO would be free sometimes for like free trial, so you can go watch some HBO shows.
Yeah.
They used to have a show on there I used to watch every morning called Babar.
Babar. My gosh, the elephant.
Babar the elephant. You remember that?
You know what? I remember it, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, Babar was a good show.
Babar.
Yeah. It used to come on HBO, and sometimes when it was free, and when they would do like different promotions, we'll have it for free, and then I can watch it. And then when it goes up, I'm like, darn it. And it was every morning before school, so I had to get up like at 6:30 to watch it, and then start getting ready. And then after that, Saved by the Bell came on. I would watch Saved by the Bell on it before. So yeah, those are my shows. For sure.
Anthony said Buzz Lightyear of Star Command was mine. Greg said I was a Doug guy. Nick said Doug, Angry Monsters, Rocco's Modern Life, Angry Beavers.
Hold up. Was it Real Monsters?
It was Our Real Monsters.
It's Real Monsters.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
what it is. What
Sean said Ren and Stimpy. See, when I was a kid, there was a show called Challenge of the Super Friends. And I thought that was the greatest show ever.
Ren and Stimpy. I like.
The Justice League against like the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
It was just like, and it was funny because like when I was a kid, I always liked the bad guys. I always thought the bad guys were cool. I got to be, and like the Justice League, their Legion of Doom would like rise out of this swamp. And every time I saw it rise out of the swamp, I was going, hot damn, here they come. Yeah. Honestly, I always, same thing with like the whole Star Wars phenomenon. Dude, I loved the bad guys. I just thought the bad guys were cool.
Someone said they like, who was that, Kenny? Rocket Power. You remember that? Rocket Power?
I definitely remember Rocket Power.
That was a good one.
Roadrunner, Rocket Power for sure.
Rocket Power, yep.
Love it. Oh, it's so stinking cool. Hey, you know what? One of the things that we are going to do every Tuesday, it's a 313 Tuesday. Obviously, we're going to talk about things going around town. Joique, I know you got a lot of stuff going on, and we want to talk about that. You've touched on some of it, but certainly want to talk about that. And if there's anything that we need to know that we need to get out there as well, by all means, let us know, because it's all about helping each other out in the community, trying to have some fun and everything.
Speaking of
Corey with the K, did you do a top 5 in the NFL? I'm intrigued to hear your top 5. It was a moving week for me.
Oh yeah, I sure did.
All right, I'm going to let you go first. Who's your top 5? And Joique can sit back and judge both of us.
All right, so at 5, this is gonna rub some people the wrong way, but at 5, I went ahead and I put the Los Angeles Rams.
Ooh. I'm not hating on you for it.
Here's what I wrote. Their defense is top tier, first in total yards and stopped in total yards per game, third in points allowed per game, fifth in the league in takeaways. Aaron Darnold leads the league in sacks, and Darius Williams is seventh in the league in pass deflections. I mean, their defense is just clicking and rocking right now, so that's why I didn't put them at 5. Pittsburgh, I have them at 4. I wanted to put them at 3, but Bills changed a lot of that, so have them right now. Had they not lost to the Bills, I would have had them at 3. The defense is still next level, but their offense is getting kind of exposed over the past couple of games.
3 games in a row, I'm with you.
So I like Big Ben, but I'm not a big fan of him. I call him the faux Big Ben because the real Big Ben is Ben Wallace. So I don't know if they're going to have enough to compete for a title, but they're going to look good. Buffalo Bills got them at 3. Josh Allen just a big playmaker. That's all he does is make plays. He showcases playmaking ability in the second quarter, They could have done a better job of it to go ahead and get a score there, but he still turned it up in the second half. I like their defense too. I think they can be the silent killer in the playoffs. Second, Green Bay. I didn't really have much for them. Just Aaron Rodgers went ahead and did to us what he normally does to Detroit. So that he's doing it to the rest of the league. I think they are the clear-cut favorite to come out the NFC. I don't know anybody else who's close.
Right.
And number one, of course, I have the Chiefs. Yes, the Chiefs.
When they get going, it's just how many times have we seen it, like a game like you saw on Sunday against Miami, where you're just like, all right, what's up with this Chief offense? They haven't done anything in a quarter, and then boom, 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 just like that. And you're, what the hell happened? I mean, really, it's like shock and awe. It's unbelievable how they operate.
They're never out of any game. Just like they'll never be out of a game.
No,
Ever.
it's insane. All right, Joique, I put the Steelers at 5, and I'll tell you why I put the Steelers at 5.
I would say that too.
Yeah, I got big concerns about that team. They cannot run the ball.
They can't run.
And they're really
They're not a
relying
balanced
too much on Ben, man. They really
It's
are.
not a balanced offense.
Nope. I got New Orleans at 4. And you got to remember, New Orleans
I
keeps...
can't believe you didn't even have New Orleans in yours.
New Orleans is still, and I know it was an ugly loss against Philly. All props to Jalen Hurts, who, by the way, I loved coming out of college. I thought everybody was sleeping on that guy.
Yeah.
I really did. He reminded me a little bit of Lamar Jackson. Maybe not the electricity that Lamar Jackson brings, but it's like, why is everybody just looking past this guy? All he does is make plays. It didn't make sense to me. But New Orleans is doing work without Drew Brees. What are they going to do when Drew Brees comes back?
Exactly.
That's what I'm keeping them there. I got Buffalo at 3. I'm going to say I love Josh Allen. I love what that team is doing.
He's proved a lot to me.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Green Bay at 2. Aaron Rodgers, enough. And there, that's all you need. Aaron Rodgers. Kansas City number 1.
Okay.
So it's right now. I mean,
I like your 5.
all right.
Your 5 was
Nick said Steelers, Rams,
good.
Bills,
It
Packers,
was
Chiefs.
a good 5. It was not terrible.
I knew the Steelers. I knew not having the Saints up there was gonna rub some elbows.
Yeah, like how you not have, yeah.
I guess I'm just being a hater.
Honestly, I would put the Saints up there above the Steelers. Like
You know
the
what's-
Steelers,
you know what's
like
funny?
If I had to choose a team to be on there, because they're just more of a balanced team.
Yep.
They're more balanced.
Jeff said the same thing. Jeff didn't even put the Steelers in his top 5. He's got the Rams, Saints, Bills, Packers, Chiefs. Kenny said, how are you going to keep the Saints out of the top 5? They're playing with a wide receiver at quarterback. Nick said Steelers, Rams, Bills, Packers, Chiefs. Tony said, oh, do I hate Green Bay. It's been almost 30 years of Favre and Rodgers. When will it end? Tony, I'm sorry. You're the type of guy that gets so mad at me for saying this, but in a sick, twisted way, over the course of time, I went from like literally hating Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers with every fiber of my being to like respecting them. I'm sorry. Can you guys ever forgive me for that?
Respecting who?
Like Favre and Rodgers. Like,
Yeah, no. It's not. It's a difference between liking someone and then respecting them. I respect them. Now I don't like them, but I would never take anything away from that game.
It's insane.
I respect. They're one of the great. I mean, that's
I
Hall
like
of Fame
watching him
talent.
play. Can I
Hall
say
of Fame-
that?
Hall
Am I
of
allowed
Fame
to say
talent.
that? I like watching him play. I do. I just.
Except when they playing against us.
Except, I hate it with every fiber of my being because.
But
those
why
two
is that?
sons-
Because you respect them so much.
Yeah, well, and they've ripped my heart out.
Yeah. There you go.
That was one of my. If I had videotape, the Shannon Sharp play, Brett Favre and Sterling Sharp. If I had videotape of that, you would think that I should be in an institution. I lost my shit. When number one, how does a guy get that open in a playoff game, right? But when they knocked off the Lions and back in '93, it was I just get chills thinking about
You
it.
get chills.
Oh, it drives me nuts. Well, you know what? Especially when you're a kid back then, you can't. I don't get pissed off like that anymore. I really don't. Like I don't have meltdowns anymore.
Yeah.
But back then,
That far from that AAA Ron. AA Ron. You see? So just to give you a quick dialogue about the AA Ron.
Yeah.
So there's a clip out. You ever seen Key and Peele?
yeah.
Now, is Key the one that's from here? Or is it P?
Yeah, Key.
Yeah, so Key is the one that's from here, right? And so he came out with this clip. He was like a substitute teacher, and he was calling out all the students' names in the class. And so it'll be a simple name like D-E-N-I-C-E, Denise. Mm-hmm. He was like, is D Nice here? Is D Nice in the room? And so it had a person named Aaron, and he didn't call him Aaron. He said, is A.A. Ron here? Is A.A. Ron? And so you have somebody on here on Facebook saying, Favre and A.A. Ron. Do you see it on here? From Nick Hafner? Favre and A.A. Ron.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. Key and Peele, huh?
Yeah, Key and Peele.
Yep.
And so that tickled me, man. Good one, Nick.
Is there somebody that we're overlooking? Is there somebody that's rising up? Because to me, I mean, we're talking about the Steelers who have been going like this. Is there somebody that maybe we're underselling? Because, Corey, I think that you mentioned them. I like what the Rams are doing. I like what the Rams are doing. Because now everybody knows about the Bills. It's not a surprise anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not, you know, and we're always going to get Coach Hef's back anyway. You know that.
Right.
But now, like, people are watching it and going, okay, let's end the debate about Josh Allen. The guy proves that he can play in this league and he's going to make plays one way or the other. Is it the Rams that maybe people are sleeping on? Gotta be, right? Uh-oh. This ought to be good. This ought to be good. Joique's losing it, so I can't wait to see what this is.
Hey, yo, Betty. Balake. Was his name Blake?
Yeah, his name was Blake.
Balake?
Yeah.
Balake?
Yeah, so the kid name was Blake, and he says, Balake here? Balake?
You gotta see the skit.
That's great.
You gotta see the skit.
You have to see it, like, if you can get that skit,
I'm gonna work on that real quick.
see if you can get that clip, because you're not gonna get it unless you really watch it.
Okay.
But it's hilarious, bro.
By the way, Jason asked this question, and this is something that we're going to come up, we were going to talk about anyway. Good news, Stafford, the x-rays were negative, okay? I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to speculate what's going on.
He probably just got, the way he was hit, just might have just bruised it, might have popped it a little bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, he'll be back next week.
I would be shocked if he is. I mean, he's too tough.
I think I've had that same injury in Cleveland. And they had to come out. Nothing was broken, but I felt something shift. And so I came out the game. I just felt it. And I tried to go back in, but I couldn't run.
Shifting isn't good. Yeah, shifting when you're running is good. Shifting in your organs, that isn't good.
Yeah, it felt something like popped or something shifted. And I just felt something shift in my rib cage. And I didn't know what it was. But I tried to get up, you know, and I walked back to the huddle. And I think it was another injury on the field. And so I was able to come off for a second. And the coach was trying to put me back in. I said, Coach, I don't think I can run. And so they did x-rays, but everything came back negative. I was back out there the following week. But I think we ended up pulling that game off against Cleveland. I think Reggie held it down until I was able to come back the following week. And then, but yeah, those are tough injuries, man.
Yeah.
Those ribs.
Oh.
I think the most horrific one I've seen in person was probably Zach Zenner.
Mm-hmm.
I think when he got hit from McAfee? No, from Chicago. He was playing the Bears, the D lineman, 99. Was so brutal. He was there.
You know, whatever.
Anyway, he took a hit in the back. He got hit in the front and got hit from in his ribs from the side and the back by him coming in full speed and broke his ribs and almost punctured his lungs.
Oh, dude.
And so he can barely breathe. So that's probably the worst one I've seen.
That's what people don't understand, Joique, and I've gone through it playing sports. There's nothing you can do. If you get that floating rib, right, the rib down at the bottom, if you pop that, there's nothing you can do. And it's not like, well, get some rest, because forget about rest. It's you sleep and you start to take those deep breaths and you feel it. And it's like there's a little heartbeat of pain in there. Mm-hmm. And you can't lay down. If you think laying on your other side is going to work, nope, the pain's there. If you think laying down on your back is going to work, nope, the pain's there. obviously you're not going to lay down on your stomach. That is like, and it's so funny because I think to you pros, it's just a broken rib, I'm fine. And it's not. I mean, that is a painful thing.
Hey,
Nothing you can do for it, man.
Nothing you can do for it, but you have to build up that pain tolerance, and they have some things to help get you back quicker. But I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but it seems like NFL players and professional athletes in general heal faster than like the average person.
Sure.
Just what it is.
Yeah. So Stafford hopefully will be back next week. I'd be surprised if he doesn't.
Back.
But as Jason suggested and Kenny added to it, the question is moving forward, what is Matthew Stafford's future? And you know what? To me, Joique, Matthew Stafford has earned the right. If he wants to go someplace else, fine. I mean, to me, I can't blame him at this point in time. And I'll tell you why I can't blame him. Because, number one, and we've talked about this before, what people feel about him nationally, whether it be media, whether it be guys from other teams, what people feel about him nationally and the way that he's been treated by not all, but many around here are two different things. I mean, you heard Aaron Rodgers talking him up just a couple of weeks ago. We're talking to Pat McAfee, saying that guy doesn't get the respect that he deserves. You know, he does some amazing things. Maybe it's because he's in Detroit and they haven't won a lot, but that guy does some special things. You played with him. I think Matthew Stafford, I'll say it again, I don't like the word great being thrown around all the time, okay? To me, if I'm going to call a guy great, he's got to be great. And it's too easy to throw the word great around there. I think that Matthew Stafford is a damn good quarterback. I've been happy that he's the quarterback of the Detroit Lions. Like everybody else, yes, of course I wish there were more wins, but I'm not going to blame Matthew Stafford for that. This roster has had a lot of shortcomings over the years that I'm just not going to put on Stafford's shoulders. If Matthew Stafford and his family think it's best to move on, I say best of luck. I hope he doesn't. I would love nothing more than to see him stay for the next couple of years. Maybe have the situation that you saw in Kansas City where they had Alex Smith and they had the guy waiting in Patrick Mahomes, and maybe make that transition in a couple of years. In a perfect world, it would be something like that. But Joique, honestly, I'm never going to complain to anybody for doing what they feel is best. I couldn't blame Matthew Stafford one bit if he said, you know what, maybe it is time to go someplace else. And I'm not insinuating that he is.
I have a question for you. I have a question for you. Say he does stay.
All right.
What does the front office do? Right. We keep him. Do we go get a quarterback in the draft?
I think you have to start thinking about it. I do. I really do.
High pick, first round?
I think you have to start thinking about it. That's a crazy thing, Joique. Like we talked about yesterday, there are so many teams right now with 4 and 5 losses that, let's say the Lions don't even win another game, okay? Right. Which is possible when you look at their schedule. Maybe they beat Minnesota. I don't expect it against Tampa. I don't expect it against Tennessee. With so many other teams at 4 and 5, Joique, it might be a pick around 10. Now, you can go get a guy. You know, you can get a guy. Like you saw the Chargers take a pretty good quarterback in Herbert that, you know, a little later on, I think he was 8. Mahomes was a little later on. He wasn't that early pick, but I think you have to think about it. I think you have to start thinking about
and the reason I asked
what the next step is. No, Joique, you're right.
So I'm asking that because of this reason here. So when we had the opportunity to get Aaron Donald, but we had Sue coming back, we thought Sue was coming back, and we didn't get him, right? And we got Eric Ebron. Now, say we go out now, Stafford's coming back. Well, we have a plethora of good quarterbacks to pick in the first round. Do we pass up on them for another position, or do we go for that quarterback right now, even though we think Stafford might be coming back, he might not be, we don't know. What do we do?
I'm going to get my boy on at some point in time. We were talking about him before the show. Scott Bischoff is a scout who does, you know, just hours and hours of stuff like this. I'm going to ask him, you know, who that next level of quarterback is. Joique, if it were me, I think, and I hate to say this, but I think this team has to embrace starting to look to the future. And I feel sorry for Matthew Stafford because of that, because he doesn't deserve that. I wish that there was enough around him right now where they could say,
but
Matthew, we're making a push. But look, that defense.
I want you to hear this. And this is nothing personal, but this NFL is a business, and that's first and foremost. So regardless of how much a team tells you they love you, how how great you are, how good of a player you are. When it's time to do something that's best for the team, they're going to make that decision based off what's best for the team. Now, if the new GM comes in and his idea is to build his team around Stafford, then that'll be great. But he comes in and says, listen, we want to start younger, we want to start fresh and bring in all his new guys, then so be it. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And we'll hate to see Stafford go, but similar to when Bob Quinn came in, he got rid of a lot of guys that didn't fit the way he wanted to run his team, and he got the guys he got the guys in that he wanted in. Now, it didn't work out for him, so we'll see what happens with this new coach.
I think
the new GM.
To your point, Joique, and I hate to verbalize this, but I have to verbalize this. I think the window of opportunity for this team with Matthew Stafford at the helm is closed. I do. And again, I want to be crystal clear when I say this. That is not Matthew Stafford's fault. It isn't, okay? There are just too many areas of need. Like here, listen, I'll do it this way. I like what they have on the offensive line. I think they have two anchors there that could be part of the next generation. In a couple of years, if we're lucky, maybe you turn it around the way that Arizona turned it around in a couple of years, or Miami turned it around in a couple of years, where those teams are just dangerous enough to say, we might get in the playoffs, but soon we're going to make some noise, right? The Lions don't have anything on the defensive side of the ball right now. They just don't. I mean, they don't. And, you know, with all due respect against some guys that are working their tail off, like Jared Davis, I love the guy. Seriously, I love the guy. He's a great guy. He works his tail off. Every year you see him, Joique, like when the season ends, you come back in July, right? It looks like he's cut out of a different piece of granite. He just keeps getting buffer, and his body fat is negative right now. However, you know what I also have to say? He's like a dog chasing cars out there. I mean, it's not happening for him. And I mean, he's putting in all the work. He's doing everything that he needs to do. But unfortunately, it isn't happening for him. And Jelani Tavai.
Now, do you think it's because of him as a player? You think it's coaching scheme, the way that they're playing?
You know what? To me, Joique, I think that you need to put him in a situation where you basically tell him to be a dog chasing cars. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the scheme fits him at all. I really don't. Personal one man's opinion, I don't think the scheme fits him at all. He's got all the physical talents. And Corey, I don't know what you think about Jared. He's got all the physical talents. I mean, and he's a great guy. He wants to succeed. It's not working. And Jelani Tavai, I mean, look, a lot of people didn't like that Bob Quinn reached for him. You know, Bob thought he was one of those guys that fit the scheme perfectly. Yeah. He looks lost out there. There's just no other way to say it. And it's not for effort. It's nothing personal. As you said, it's almost like the Godfather thing. Look, it's not personal. It's business. Well, we have to talk about business. So unfortunately right now, the good things are on the offensive side of the ball. We have a couple hopes on the defensive side of the ball. I think there are two young cornerbacks that we can say, all right, let's give them some time. Let's give them some time and see what these guys do. But there's just too many damn holes on the defensive side of the ball, and it's frustrating. It really is.
It is.
It's especially, again, your team, that 2014 team, was so damn good defensively.
You can't compare any team to that 14 season.
No, you can't. Not recently. No, you can't.
No.
You guys were so damn good defensively.
We were. We have some dogs.
Jason said, I have seen some early mock drafts. Lions are picking Zach Wilson from BYU. That is a name that I've seen a lot. I'm not going to sit here and pretend. I think it's funny around draft time. Everybody pretends that they're a draft expert and know all these guys. I've only seen him play a couple times. I don't know all that much about him. I'm not going to pretend to know all that much about him. But I promise, Jason, to your point, I'm going to get my boy Scott Bischoff on. Joique, I think I told you this. He was a guy that told people like a year in advance, you better watch Ziggy. This guy's going to go top 10, and he knew it. Max said, I hope the new front office can sit down with Stafford and discuss the future of the team openly and really look him in the eyes and ask if he's good with a rebuild, rebranding. Be as integral as possible with that the next couple of years. Kenny said, we won't know who the coach is, we won't know till we know who the coach is.
Right.
I just think we could get him for like a 4th or 5th round pick. See, Kenny, to me, that's the biggest. It's all about the GM and the coach.
It's
That's what
the
it's all
GM and the
about.
coach.
Yep.
And honestly, it's more the GM than anything. Like the coach can be in the room, talk about the guys, but the GM is one that's pulling the trigger. We're going to get this guy. I don't care what you say. This is a great talent. Let's get him in here, and you figure out you do your job. You know. And so I'm interested to see who the new GM is going to be. First off. And see what direction he goes for the head coaching job.
Did you see the piece by Dave Burkett in the Free Press? Dave does such a great job for the Free Press.
Dave, what up?
But yesterday,
what up, though, Dave? I like Dave.
Yeah, good cat.
Yeah.
Yesterday, he reported that Sheila Ford Hemp said in a memo to employees, she is pleased with how the Lions have responded to the recent organizational changes, but still a long way from making new hires. Now, this is the quote. Here it comes, Joique. This staffing change brings lots of work with it. Rod and I and our advisors take very seriously. We are already deeply into researching top candidates for head coach and GM, and as the recent internal memo stated, have already interviewed several in-house candidates for the GM job. This process will play out over the next 6 weeks or so, with the result being a well-vetted and proven head coach general manager team that can finally take the Lions where we also earnestly wish to go, and that's to the top. Now, Joique, two questions that I have for you.
Who are my picks?
Yeah, when I hear experience, that kind of tells me that they're thinking out of the house. I can't help but read into that. But when you're a player in the locker room, as you have been, do they come to you and talk to you and ask you guys any feelings or anything like that?
No.
Never?
No. Goodness, no.
Maybe to 9? Maybe to 9?
You know what though? Maybe 9. Maybe. You have the players who are going to be affected the most. A new offense. So they might pull a Calvin. Or they might mention it to Calvin. But the only person I can see them going to is probably 9.
Yeah.
And if they're bringing the DC, then probably Sue. You know, those type of guys. But no, not really, no. But if it had to be my pick, which actually I talked to President Wood and kind of like, listen, you might want to take a look at this guy. This guy is brilliant. He's been around, 15, 20 plus years in the NFL coaching. He has respect from all the players. He's a younger coach, energetic, and everybody respects him. And that's Curtis Mockins, and who coached me for about 4 years.
Yeah.
In Buffalo, and then also in Detroit for a majority of my career. So he's been with me at just about every stage, from a rookie to my growth to like my 5th, 6th year in the NFL. So a lot of respect for him.
You know, it's interesting because this goes back, and I think sometimes people forget about this. And, you know, when you're, and I'm like not trying to be condescending when I say this, but look, we're all excited to see what the next page is going to be. We're all excited to see if things for this franchise can change. And I'm going to reiterate, you're going to hear me say this time and time again. I refuse to believe the whole mantra of the Lions suck and they always are going to suck. I refuse to believe that. Everything changes, man. How long have you been watching sports? I'll go up and down. Michigan State football is always going to suck. We heard that. The Golden State Warriors, who are they? You know what I mean? So you get the right people in place and you can change things quick, fast, and hurry. And hopefully the Lions are in the process of doing that. But Joique, I think the one thing that people do is they talk about specifically the coach. And as you brought up earlier, oh, no. It starts with the GM. Because if the GM doesn't have the guy that he wants, then there's going to be a problem. And that's where you see the friction.
It shouldn't be friction. It should be, these are the guys, this is who you're coaching. But I think it shouldn't be friction. It's more so us sitting in the room. What's your vision? I tell you what my vision is, and let's try to compromise to kind of meet in the middle. And so, just revert back. When I talked to President Wood, I kind of threw that name out there, the Curtis Mockins name. He said that he was actually on their radar, and he had been in contact with Curtis before in the past, and that he respects what he's doing and what he's done, and he'll be evaluating, I guess, this offseason. So we'll let's see what happens. But I think that would be definitely a good look for Detroit.
There's a guy that I like in Indy as a general manager, and I'm sure you know who he is, Ed Dodds. and he was with Seattle for years. He was the number 2 man in Seattle and did a lot of their drafting. As you know, Seattle did a great job finding some gems in the draft and everything. Right. And he's been in that role now for a little bit with Indy. And last year, Cleveland was very interested in him, but he didn't want to jump. Right. I don't know the reasons why he didn't want to jump, but he was kind of cool with his role as a number 2. That's the type of guy that I look at as a general manager. Guy that's been there, done that. He's worked a lot in the draft because I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. It's great to sign free agents. It is. Right. It's great. You build through the draft, man, and you got to make the draft count. Unfortunately, we haven't had too many of those drafts. Martin had a couple good drafts. I think Bob had one good draft. We can talk about. We'll get into that at some point in time. Yeah. But you need to hit those drafts year in, year out, man. It's so important.
Yeah. Who do you see coming in as a head coach and having some type of impact? Like who do you see coming in?
I think it starts with what you talk about all the time, and it starts with the guy that you already know has his own brand, has his own culture, and has the respect of the players.
You know what's funny? Guess who I talked to last night? Our favorite coach here.
Coach Caldwell?
Talked to him last night.
Yeah?
Yeah, doing well. So I was able to catch up with him. And so when I was calling him, he didn't have my number stored. And I have a 224 number, which a lot of spam calls comes from 224. And I was surprised he actually picked up the phone because he's having a house built, actually similar to the house he had here in Detroit, which is amazing. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
But amazing.
Where was it at? What area?
I don't know. I think it was like out by, I could be lying, like out by Waterford area or by like Novi, like.
My neck of the woods.
Yeah,
I'm in Northville, Novi.
Yeah, so I think he was somewhere over there, and but we would never hear too much about like his house. But when he put it up for sale, his wife loved the house here so much that they have like a similar one built in North Carolina now, and so it's good to see he's doing well. And we chopped it up, and I told him once he gets settled in, just have a conversation on the show. So I think he's going to be on the show.
I'd love to have him.
Really, I'd love to have him, man, just to catch up.
Nothing but respect for Coach Caldwell. I mean that.
No, honestly. One of the best coaches I've had in the NFL as far as coaching and personal relationship. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So you guys, I'm going to take you back to your playing day. You had never, you had familiarity with Coach Caldwell, so I shouldn't say that. But when they decide to make the change with Coach Schwartz, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I have to ask you anyway. Did you guys know it was over? Was it over in the room? Did you guys know this was coming to the end?
We didn't know what was going to happen. We knew something was going to happen, but we didn't know exactly when or what. He literally came in, had the whole team. We all took a seat. It was in for a team meeting. I think it was after our last game of the season. And so he came down and he addressed the team and told the team that he had been let go, had been relieved of his duties. Said it was tough for him, and but we respected how he handled it. And he ended up leaving and going. And then I think in the offseason they brought in Coach Caldwell, and then that's when that era started.
Did the guys in the room know a lot about Coach Caldwell? I mean, you had familiarity already.
I had some. But I didn't know because when I was on the coach, the way he ran the team with the coach was totally different from the way he ran the team in Detroit. It was two totally different atmospheres. I loved the Detroit atmosphere. I didn't like Indianapolis, and it wasn't. I didn't like Coach Caldwell. I just didn't like I didn't like the culture there.
I get it. I get it.
And it was nothing against him at all, but I just didn't like the culture. I didn't like how. I just didn't like how things were ran. And so when he came to Detroit, he had more of a handle. He had more freedom. And he was able to run the team the way he wanted to run the team. And we loved it, man.
I had heard, I need to ask you this. This just popped in my brain. Yeah. And by the way, we're just having conversation here. That's what we do every day between 11 and 1. He's Joique Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. It is a 313 Tuesday. I want him to talk about some of the stuff he has coming up because I know he's got a busy couple of weeks. Again, I want to remind you, if you're in the area or if you make a drive, I mean, we had people come from New Baltimore yesterday. Come in, drop off some toys, get a picture with the man, and
right here.
Again, every every toy, every cent, everything that comes in here is going to the children's hospital.
Every dime, no payrolls here.
Nothing. Zero, zilch. All right, so I got to run this by you because I was told by a couple guys after the fact that things went downhill really fast, especially after the Philly game in the snow with Jim Schwartz, and things just got bad really fast, and there was a lot of finger pointing going on. It's your fault. It's your fault. That stuff, not true. Not true.
Not true. No.
Bam. There you go.
No.
From the horse's mouth.
No. It was. We never pointed fingers.
Yeah.
No, never that. Nuh-uh. We just, when we got to that last game against the Vikings, we knew we didn't have anything to play for. We were just playing for our pride. What we wanted was to come out healthy and start rebuilding for the next season, and that's what we were able to do. 'Cause I know I was on my last leg. Even if we made the playoff, I don't know how I would have made it through the playoffs. Reggie was on one leg. I mean, I don't know how he made it through, but that's the football, and that's how you have to fight. It's mental. And so I'm going to go until something shuts down. And that's the mentality you have to have. And it's just a lot of games just did not fall our way.
Sure.
And we'll bring it up. We talked about it yesterday, but I want to know how many games you lost by a touchdown or less.
It was incredible.
Yeah, it was. That 4-12 could have easily been 12-4.
Yeah.
But it happens.
All right, Coach Caldwell and Joique talked to him yesterday. The one thing that I will say, and I noticed it day one of training camp, and I don't know if you went out there at all because you were already done, but day one of training camp in 2018, to say, Joique, that there was a difference between Coach Caldwell's camp and Coach Patricia's camp, night and day. My arms don't reach far enough, and it was amazing to me because I get that you want to create your own thing, and you want to put your mark on the team. But in my humble opinion, and I've never talked to a player about this because it's not my place. Now that Coach Patricia's gone, maybe we can have those conversations. Was it almost like culture shock that you went from everything with Coach Caldwell kind of being this way to Coach Patricia being over here, and a lot of guys saying, hey, man, there's a difference between getting in my grill and disrespecting me.
Yeah, so the thing is, so Coach Caldwell never cuts at a player one time, right? He'll ask you to do something, and you're either going to do it or you don't. And if you don't do it, that's fine. We'll move on to the next person. Because at the end, we're men, we're professionals, we're at the top of our game, and if you don't know how to be a professional in this game, don't be here. We don't need all that rah, and we don't need that at this point. Like, we can go. We can go. And I think the difference between Coach Caldwell and Coach Patricia, which I've never played for Coach Patricia.
Sure.
I'm only talking about from hearing from teammates I did play with who played with Coach Caldwell and played with Coach Patricia. And he said that the way that he would talk to him was disrespectful. And at the end of the day, first we're men and then we're football players, and not the other way around. And we're not going to be disrespected. And he said that when people stood up and said anything, he would say they were mentally weak. So I didn't get that. I didn't get it. So I don't know how true that is, but basically I would hear that he would try to talk to like some of the top tier players on the team that way.
Do it.
And to prove a point. The guys who aren't at that level yet don't even try with me. So he'll try to go to the top players first. If they can take it, then you guys can take it as well. But you got some guys who they're not going to take it. I remember I played with a player in New Orleans, Sean Rogers, Big Baby Rogers. Mm-hmm. I think at the time he was like a 12 or 13-year vet.
He'd been here for a few years.
Yeah. I have a story with Sean Rogers here in Detroit when I was at Wayne State that I'll bring up later on. So they're playing a game, and I think it was a preseason game, and one of the DC's children was a coach. He was coaching like on the sideline. I'm not gonna say his name, but people know who it is. And he was talking to Sean Rogers a little bit, he was out of touch. Like, this is a 6'5", 390 pound, 360, wherever he was, pound man. You can't talk to him any type of way. And so he said something to him on the field that was disrespectful. And when the game was over, they ran into the locker room, and Big Baby didn't shake anyone's hand. He ran right in the locker room right behind him. He got in the locker room and cornered me. And
Oh gosh.
oh yeah, we had a receiver in there that was trying to break. Who was Arrington?
Okay.
Arrington, play receiver, and he said I can't hold this big guy back. I was trying to give him trying to break it up to give him time to get out, but yeah, you have guys who you got to understand we're men first, right? If we can't get the job done, now I understand it's your job to coach me, but don't be disrespectful.
No.
And I think that's where Coach Carver got so much respect from the players because he was a coach that you wanted to play for. He was a coach that you didn't want to disappoint. You didn't fear him. You didn't want to disappoint him. So you gave it your all every play. The front office was like that. Martin Mayhew, Tom LeWan, love those guys. I still keep in touch with both of them to this day. Great guys. And I think I might want to bring them on the show for real because
anytime
and get their perspective because I love playing for Tom. He was very approachable at every practice. We can talk about the game, about players. And I remember he's like a people's encyclopedia. Like he knows everybody. And I said, bro, how can you know every single person? And he told me this, and I don't even think he remembers telling me this. Well, he said, well, my dad told me that, if people are important to you, you'll remember them. And I said, huh. That's a great quote.
Yeah.
That's a great quote.
Heck yeah.
Right. And so it's like we have these type of conversations. Martin Mayhew, me and him would have conversations about when I played for the Lions. I remember 2012. They bring me in from New Orleans in 2011. This is my first preseason. And I had missed. I didn't miss. Came in late for a special team meetings. I had fell asleep in the players' lounge with 12 of the teammates. And we all woke up to go to they all woke up and went to the meeting, and nobody tapped me hey, Joique, come on, let's go to the meeting. No one tapped me. And so I had my headphones in. I get a call. It comes to my headphones. I'm like, hello? It was Galen Duncan. Joique, where are you? I'm like, I'm in the players' lounge. Well, they're looking for you in the meeting. I said, what? And I looked. None of my teammates were in the players' lounge. I said, nobody tapped. And that's when I knew, this is this is the me lead. Nobody can tap me. I'm like, okay.
Absolutely.
I guess I got to watch my own back now from here on out. So I go in there and went in late. The coach asked me where I was. I didn't lie. I said, I fell asleep in the player lounge. My apologies. Fast forward, he took me off of every special teams.
For real?
Every special teams. Right? And then I asked my coach, Sam Gass, should I go apologize for being late? He said, no, don't be a distraction, just leave it alone. So I didn't say anything. Stephen Tulloch, shout out to my boy Stephen, Tully had hit me up and said, listen, he said, bro, what happened? I said, I was late for a meeting. He said, bro, you better go apologize to that man. I said, coach told me not to. What coach told you not to go apologize? Who told you that? He said, well, go apologize to that man. I said, all right, I'll go apologize. So, and I will always get to the stadium earlier than everyone else. So I'm there, the emergency lights are still on. They haven't turned the lights on for the building. And I'm walking down this hallway, and I had went up to the coach's office twice. He was never there. So I'm walking down this hallway, and then he's coming out the cafeteria. And I catch him in the hall. I said, listen, coach, pull him by the elevator. Give him my piece. I apologize for being late. That's not my character. I'm a true professional. It'll never happen again. He looked at me and said, I respect that. And then that same day, he put me back first string on all the special teams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, put me back.
That a boy.
Right. And put me back. And then that was a year, the first time I had played my first full season as a Lion. That was 2012. So that's the story that, that's one of the stories from my first year on the Lions, full season.
That's great.
So I'm talking to Martin Mayhew about 2 or 3 years later. I didn't know that when I was late for that meeting, that Coach Schwartz wanted to cut me that day.
Are you serious?
The approval point. Yeah, he wanted to cut me that day, the approval point. Don't be late to my meetings.
Oh, that's funny.
And Martin Mayhew, and this is what I come to tell you, that the coaches really don't have any say-so they have say-so, they can give their opinion, but if ultimately the GM is the one that's bringing in the people, the presidents are the ones that are bringing in the players, and you coach them. And so Martin Mayhew said, we're not cutting him. We're not we worked too hard to get him here. We're not cutting him.
Isn't that funny? Because there's that famous story. You just popped something in my head. I'm sure you heard this. Jimmy Johnson, in the middle of a film session, one of his players fell asleep, right? And he cut him. and everybody said, there's a new sheriff in town. Jimmy's so tough and everything. And it's so funny because, like Joique, you don't think about that. This is a guy who's like a third-string linebacker. If that's Troy Aikman, if that's Emmitt Smith, if that's Charles Haley, if that's Michael Irvin, there ain't no way in hell
You cut him.
he's cutting him. No way in
Who
hell.
was the one player, I think it was for the Cowboys, that he would go to the meetings with shades on because he'll go to sleep in the meetings. He wore shades.
For real?
He wore shades, and when he went into the meetings, he knew he was going to sleep, so he would wear the shades in there. And even when the lights were off, he'll have the shades on. And so,
that's
so
funny.
so they called him. So he said they called him Hollywood, and he was like, "Why do they call you Hollywood?" He said, "Because a person going there with shades, he got to be two things: he got to be Hollywood, or he got to be crazy." I went with Hollywood.
That's great. Yeah, back in the day, they had a guy named Hollywood Henderson, which is funny.
Yeah.
Couple guys commented on this. Kenny said, I can't remember who threw it out there, but somebody threw the name Jason Garrett for head coach, and if that happens, I'm moving. I've heard that name as well. Corey with a K, I don't know if you've heard that name.
What?
I'm gonna get it. Why? Why would Jason Garrett's name come up? I'm not being funny.
No.
I get you hear about how he's got this great offensive mind, okay? Well, having a great offensive mind and making it work are two different things. I thought that they were captain mediocre in his time with Dallas. Yeah, he might be an offensive coordinator. We're not really seeing the fruits of the labor in New York either, but Jason Garrett, to me, Jason Garrett is going back to the same farm and hoping that you get a different kind of product. It doesn't make any sense to me, man. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, he really is. He's, you know what? Just run of the mill, right?
You think so?
Why would Jason Garrett jump out to you? What is it about Jason Garrett that would make somebody go, that's a guy for the answer? I mean, it was mediocrity after mediocrity in Dallas.
I don't see it. So from the players that I know that played for the Cowboys, say he lost the locker room. The year that they let him go, he lost the locker room.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
That's
lost the locker room. They didn't respect what he was saying. They didn't believe what he was saying, and he just lost the locker room. And so if you lose the locker room as a head coach, it's hard to get it back.
How do you do it? Like, how do you lose the locker room? What would be is it just being disrespectful? Is it?
That's one reason. I don't know what it was there.
Yeah.
But I've never played on a team when a coach has ever lost the locker room.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah.
I mean, I played with some of the greats. I played with Andy Reid. I played for Sean Payton. I played for Coach Caldwell. So these guys, like, they never, like, even Coach Schwartz, he didn't lose the locker room. Like, I like Schwartz.
Yeah.
Now some of his coaching staff that we might not care too much for. A couple people on the New Orleans coaching staff I didn't care too much for. But as far as the head coach, nothing but respect.
Was it good cop, bad cop situations? I'm not going to ask for details or names, but a lot of times you have the one guy's kind of the good cop, the other guy's kind of the bad cop. Was it a scenario like that?
No, it was just the way they talk to players they think don't have a name. You know, it's not the same respect. And they have like guys who are up here, and I just sit back and I evaluate and I observe. And I just kind of see how things play out, and just the way some coaches treat other players just because of who they are. I don't like it. Like treat everyone the same way. Like I'm not going to treat you any differently than I would treat a janitor or a waitress or a waiter.
The exact same way.
Like I saw a quote from Muhammad Ali said that it was something along the lines of. I couldn't trust you if you didn't respect the waiter, because if I was in that in that waiter position, you'll treat me the same way.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what it is. Like, so it was a couple of coaches that were like that I didn't respect.
Yeah. I got you. A couple comments. Lynn said, I get punishing a guy for what you're talking about, but cutting a player for that seems harsh, my opinion. Sean said, who do you guys want to have at GM? I said it before. I'm going to keep banging this name, Ed Dodds from Indy. Wow. If you're not familiar with him, look up his bio. I think this is a guy, there's a reason he's had a hot name for a couple of years. And, sure, somebody's going to say, well, he had a chance at the Cleveland spot. Yeah, and he said no. Maybe he doesn't want to be the full-time GM. Money talks. Yeah. And one thing that has always pissed me off, and I'm going to say this to you because you know this, but for people out there, you can say whatever you want about the Ford family and not winning. You can say that they've hired bad guys. You can talk about the ineptitude, okay? Where I draw the line personally is when I hear people say the Fords are cheap. That couldn't be further from the truth. Couldn't be further from the truth. Mm-hmm. Not only did they spend the money in the salaries and go up to the cap, but take a look at what they've paid their coaches and their general managers, okay? Don't take my word for it. Go look. I mean, this is common knowledge. So, Joique, when I hear people say what you want about the Ford family, they haven't been able to win, blah, blah, blah. When I hear cheap, I always laugh. Money talks. If Ed Dodds is waiting for a big deal, the Fords have shown they'll spend a heck of a lot of money to bring people in here.
And keep them.
Yep.
And keep them. So.
To the detriment of the team sometimes. I mean, Matt Millen kept the job probably 3 years longer than he should have. You know what I'm saying? At $5 million a year back then. I mean, so don't use cheap. Say whatever you want, but don't use cheap.
How many years was he here?
Matt was hired in 2001, and he got fired, not that I remember it perfectly, September 24th, 2008.
And that's when Tom LeWan became Tom LeWan was the president. And
yeah, they came in.
That's when Martin Mayhew came in?
Yeah. Martin was already underneath him, so he had interim at first, and then it was kind of funny, I'll tell you. I mean, some people that maybe were listening to the radio, we were the first ones reported on my show. I got a text from somebody, never give up your sources, but I got up a text from somebody saying Matt Millen's in his office cleaning it out right now. And I was like, are you kidding me? And he said, go with it, but if you mention my name, I'll never give you anything again. And I never have, I never will. You don't ever do that.
I know who it was.
I bet you do. But anyway, I'm not going to tell you. But
I know who it was.
And it was funny because about a half hour later is when it kind of, so we ran with it. And it's funny because we were kind of getting hammered by some of the other media outlets in town. Ha, 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 who else is cleaning out their office? And people turned it into a bit. And it was a little bit after 10 that it kind of became everywhere. That it kind of got everywhere. So it was a rush that morning because, and Corey, I'm sure you've been in this position before. Joique, I'm not going to lie to you. For about 25 minutes, I'm crapping my pants going, oh my gosh, what if this is wrong? I'm going to be the biggest laughingstock in the history of mankind. It was about 25 minutes worth of that. And then I'll never forget, it was right around 10 o'clock, a fellow friend of mine, and I'm sure you know him, Tony Ortiz, he reported it as well that Matt Millen was cleaning out his office. I called
How long has Tony been there? Golly.
You know T.O., right?
Yeah, I know T.O.
T.O.'s great.
T.O. covered some Wayne State stuff too.
Yeah. T.O. does some stuff down at Wayne State as well. He's part of our broadcast team for football and basketball. But it was funny. I called Killer, who was one of my close buddies in the business, and this is before we were working together, and he said to me, he goes, I'm going to find out quick. And it took him about 15 minutes. So in that 15 minutes, you got to remember, I'm crapping my pants. I'm going, okay, if I got bad info, I'm going to look like the biggest jerk ever. And he called me like 15 minutes later, and he goes, dude, he's cleaning out his stuff right now. And I was like, thank you. Because, that's the last thing in the world you want. In this business, and I'm just an idiot radio guy. I'm not,
right.
I'll be the first guy to say it. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a beat writer. I do occasional TV, and who the hell am I? But for whatever reason,
man, Sean.
Well, whatever reason,
legend, Sean. Don't quit trying to downplay.
No,
you're a legend.
But you know what's funny, Joique? You know what's funny? I think part of the reason why he told me, and he told me this years later, is I did that march. I did that Millen march.
Right.
And he goes, I know for you it was personal, and it wasn't personal against Matt, because I'm going to say this now, and people get mad at me. Matt Millen, the human being, is a wonderful man.
Why did they beat you up for that?
He's a wonderful man. He is.
Why did they beat you up for it? Why did they beat you up for it?
Well,
and that's the thing that I kind of learned when I went to the
terrible, the worst GM ever.
Yeah, but because we're not criticizing him as a man. We're criticizing his job choices or his choices when it came to bringing players and bringing people into the Lions organization.
Yeah.
That's what we're critiquing. We're not critiquing him.
Yeah.
And so we just have to be able to separate the personal from the player
Wonderful man.
or from the GM.
I mean, really, and I know a lot of fans still, it grates them that he screwed over this franchise so mightily. I mean, and he did. He screwed this franchise over in more ways than else. So I guess, fans want me to say that he was a jerk or he was this or that. I won't say that. Matt Millen was a wonderful guy. And he kind of had this self-effacing sense of humor. When he picked Mike Williams, I literally lost my mind. I was doing a radio show that day, and I lost my mind on the radio because I had just talked to Chris Carter.
USC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had just talked to Chris Carter, and Chris Carter was on our airwaves saying, he's lazy. You would be making a big mistake. He's lazy. We'd worked out. It wasn't, it wouldn't, he needs some growing up to do. So the Lions picked him, and I literally lost my mind. And it was funny because...
What year was that? Was that 07?
2007?
Yeah, 07.
And it was funny because the next day, or was it 5? I think it was 2005. They all run together.
It could, yeah.
But anyway, the next day I saw him out at the facility in Allen Park. And he came up to me and got me like in a joke headlock and everything. And he said, "Hey, I heard you love my pick of Mike Williams." And I just went, "Matt, dude, are you serious?" Like that. And he was like, "This guy, he's a player. He can play." And we obviously know what happened. He was just
a bust.
Some guys, some guys have the drive, and he didn't have the drive.
So question, who was the best receiver pick we got outside of Calvin from 2000 to now?
From 2000 till now?
That you thought was going to come in and be so great?
Ryan Broyles. I loved Ryan Broyles.
Love Ryan. I can't fault that. I would say coming in and making a big impact his first year.
Well, I thought Charles would be.
I thought Charles would
be
the guy.
The best receiver in the league.
So I thought Charles.
I thought he'd be the best receiver in the league.
Battle injuries.
Yep. Was there
I like Titus Young.
Did you really?
I like Titus Young on the field, man. Aside from his antics, like his play-making ability, his route running, his coming out, he was a playmaker. He was a playmaker.
Yeah?
Titus Young was a playmaker. Oh, yeah. He was.
It's a shame.
It's a shame to see what happened to him in his career. And what? I want to talk about mental health is a serious thing.
1,000%.
It's a serious
Couldn't
thing.
agree with you more.
And I think we downplay it a lot because of the stigma, right? But it's a serious thing, and a lot of players are going through it. I saw a player. I think his name was Ike, or it was a Nigerian name, I believe. And I'll get the name, but just in November, last month, was walking around with like a BB gun in the street and having mental health issues, and cops pulled over and he pointed the BB gun, they shot and killed him. And he was getting mental help. He was actually getting mental help. And I think we should normalize these conversations so people can come out more and talk about the mental health.
Couldn't agree with you more.
But it's, when people have mental health issues, and it changes your perception of them. Oh, they're not this gladiator that I once thought they were, because now they have issues. And it's sad to see, but it's good to see people with platforms kind of talking about it. Like one person that I really respect who talks about is Big Sean. Mm-hmm. He got mental health. He had issues that he got corrected. And
it's big in the hockey community. It's really big in the NHL. I kid you not. You hit the stigma, because to me, Titus Young isn't a guy to make fun of. That's a guy that needs help. Okay. Yeah. And if you've listened to me over the years, have I had some fun with guys? Absolutely, I have. Yeah. I nicknamed Mike Williams Pringles, because it's like he snacked, he gained all that weight. Uh-huh. This is a guy that had other interests in playing football. So I would say things like Pringles and Cheetos and things like that. Titus Young isn't a guy that's a guy that needs help.
No, so I remember, it's things that would transpire that would make you say, what the heck? Mm-hmm. Like, And it's sad to watch a person deteriorate right in front of your eyes, and no one's like reaching out and saying, listen, I reached out a couple of times, trying to find him or reach out to him, but it's sad stories, man, and it's sad to see. I mean, everyone had, like, I've had my issues.
We all have.
We all have had our issues.
We all have.
You have to get it corrected, right?
100%.
And it's sad to see. I think it's time to normalize having these type of topics, these conversations, and that's one thing I like about our platform here. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Yep.
I love it. And if you guys want to chime in down here and talk about it,
A lot of guys are.
Yeah.
Let me read some of these comments. A couple guys mentioned Roy Williams. I don't know what your thoughts on Roy were. Are you, Corey, with
the
it?
receiver?
Roy Williams was a good receiver to me. That was a good receiver.
Hollywood.
The best move with Roy Williams, though, was flipping Roy Williams for that first-round pick. That, to me, that was the fact that you got a first-round pick for Roy Williams. I thought Martin, A+ for that. Now, I don't like how they use that first-round pick. I didn't like taking Pettigrew with that first-round pick going back to that draft. You know what? I think a guy like Pettigrew, okay, if you're gonna take a guy like that, I don't take a guy that's going to be a bigger part of your offense, because I think
it was a huge part of our offense.
Yeah, but a bigger part of the offense. You know what I mean?
He was probably the only receiver that was coming out who was both equally talented at catching and blocking.
He was. There's no doubt about it. He was a darn good blocking tight end. But to me, I don't think you take that guy at 20 overall. Can you get that same guy? Can you get that skill set in the second or third round?
You probably could.
That was my issue from day one. It's like, nothing against Pettigrew, but same thing. It's like, all right, you're starting over from scratch. You just got your quarterback of the future. The second move that you make in a draft is to take a guy like Brandon Pettigrew. That was the issue that I had. I was like, what are you doing? But with that being said, to get a first-round pick for Roy Williams, win. Martin Mayhew won that. Period, end of story, Mm-hmm. That was always my take on it. Jenna, who came in, we missed you, Jenna. You should come up.
I saw her come in and drop the. But we're in the topic, and she dropped the.
You should walk up, Jenna. It's just us anyway, right?
Yeah, could have said hi.
Jenna said she dropped off some stuff, and she brought some snacks as well. And then she also chimed in. It's happening more and more, especially with the kiddos now.
You know what's the most awkward thing for me?
What's that?
Is that I went to go see Concussions. All right, I went to go see Concussion. I actually went to the movie theater to go watch it. And this dropped about 2000. When did that movie come out? 2015, 14?
The one with Will Smith?
With Will Smith.
Yeah.
And so we're watching it. I'm like, wow, I'm learning things as I'm watching the movie.
2015.
2015? So as I'm walking out the movie theater with my son, you know how many people came up to me? So Joique, how did you feel about the movie? I'm like, yeah, it was a good movie. It was a good movie. So I trying to walk off fast, but I'm like, this is what we signed up for. Like, but we don't know all of this coming in. But watching that movie, it put a lot of things into light. And that's when a lot of players were saying, like, this might be my last year playing. Even Big Ben said that this might be my last year playing. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
He said that.
What about DeAndre?
Levy?
Yeah, wasn't he like, I'm done. I'm not. I don't want to do that.
Man. Yeah, man. Yeah. And he's not anti-NFL, but he doesn't like the way some things are being ran.
Sure.
And he doesn't like that. But DeAndre has always been a guy who's always been smart, intelligent, and I remember we'll always have like our post-practice stuff, and cold tub, hot tub. Sometimes I'll contrast where I go from one to the other, 2 minutes here, 1 minute here, back and forth. And he'll always be in there from the waist down with his book in his hand reading every day.
No kidding.
Every day. And like, Levy, what you reading, man?
Education, baby.
And that's key, though. And that's key. And I always had a lot of respect for Levy, how he carried himself, how he practiced himself, how he prepared for games, how he evaluated his team. Well, not team, but his playbook and just his preparation. Just all in all, man, nothing but respect for him. But I think mental health is definitely a huge issue in our industry, and it needs to be normalized.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Mike said 100% get mental health out there. People need help. Agencies need support. Absolutely. You know what the biggest thing is, Joique, and you can speak to this. Do you know what I think a lot of times it comes down to? And I've heard a lot of the guys in the NHL world talk about this. I remember having a conversation. I'm not going to say his name, but when I did one of the games for the Carolina Hurricanes, right? You're all staying at the same hotel, and we're walking over to the rink, and I'm walking with one of the guys, and he, very thoughtful guy, and he said to me, he goes, you know what's weird? He goes, I think for the first time ever in pro sports, and he said, I'll just talk about hockey. We're supposed to be these big, bad, tough guys, right? We're supposed to be the tough ones, and nothing can hurt us, and there's nothing can get to us, and we're making all this money, and and he goes, we're finally ending the stigma, and guys are coming out and saying, I got an issue, and it's okay to say it, because before, and the way he said it, I looked at him, I was like, dude, that's brilliant. He goes, you can't show weakness. You can't show weakness to your opponents. You can't show weakness to your teammates. You can't show weakness to the media. They'll jump in on you. And he goes, we're finally ending that stigma. And I was like, that's a great quote, bro.
It might be, and you got to think about it. What's the greatest, so when you win, everyone loves a winner, right? But why are the biggest stories when a person is on their downfall? You know? So they build you up, right? They'll build you up. And then the first opportunity they have to tear you down, they'll do it. And it's a bar in one of Big Sean's songs when he says that my mom says it only take 5 minutes to F up your Wikipedia. Basically saying like you can spend 19 years or 20 plus years building your reputation, and then within 3 seconds, if I go out and I do something inappropriate, not saying I would, but like if I go out and I do something and now Joique punched a guy in the face, camera guy in the face for watching him, and now he's getting sued. Oh, he's a bad guy, oh, I always knew this, and this is where all the comments comes in to play. And now it goes from Joique Bell, he played football, so he's aggressive, and that when it played like being in the NFL kind of plays against you. And it's terrible, man. It's the stigma that we have.
The thing that drives me nuts too, you just brought up something, I'm sorry to go in this direction, and I guess because I've known you for a while, people don't understand the things you guys go out and do. And because a lot of times you're not, putting it in big, bold letters and telling everybody, I'm doing this for the community, I'm doing that for the community and stuff like that.
We don't.
People don't get that.
So people don't, it's a vast majority, not a vast majority, but it's a group of people who, if you were to post something online, why are you posting what you're doing? Just do it out the kindness of your heart. There's no reason to post it. And then when you don't, he doesn't do anything for the community.
Right.
No, he doesn't do anything.
Right.
What does he do? And it's like, what? You can't win from losing, right? And so you have to find a median, and that's kind of what it is. And I like this show because on this show we don't have to be politically correct.
Nah.
No, we don't have to be politically correct here.
Nope. Corey with a K, you don't have to either. Let's get at that. A lot of guys mentioned Nate Burleson as a wide receiver. Now, obviously, they didn't draft him. They brought him in here. But Nate, what was your take on Nate?
I love Nate.
Nate has morphed into a great media personality, by the way. I think he's great.
I'll tell you this about Nate. Nate didn't like blocking for me. I'll tell you that. Nate didn't like blocking for me. But he would make plays, and we'll always talk. Good friend of mine. And I remember, you remember 2013, we were playing the Redskins, and Nate went off. I think he had like about 116 yards receiving. But I remember when he blocked, he wasn't like, he was just standing away. And I had two guys coming. I said, you know what? I'm about to run into Nate back. He's just going to have to take this one. And ran into Nate back, but we got about another 5 more yards, though. So we got another 5 more yards. But I love Nate, man. Nate was a great teammate, man. He kept the energy alive in practice. Great to be around, funny, charismatic, and just a talented player. Yeah.
A lot of guys have asked, and I want to get your take on this guy. And I don't understand it. To each their own. I hope you respect that. But a lot of people are talking about Louis Riddick as the possible next general manager of the Lions. And a lot of people have commented on it. Corey with a K, I want to get your take because the look you just gave me basically describes my feeling on Louis Riddick. Listen, I get it. I think Louis Riddick's phenomenal on television. I do. I get it. He does a great job. So does Dan Orlovsky. So does Nate Burleson, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Can I say this though? I think this is such an important hire. Okay, a guy that talks really well on television, but doesn't exactly have a lot of success in his background, and was kind of like an underling for two different franchises. And especially when you look at the signings that Louis Riddick made when he was in Philadelphia, because you have to remember, he was the pro personnel guy.
Yeah.
Not so much the draft guy, but the pro personnel guy. And if you go back and look at all those signings that Philly made in 2011, the quote-unquote dream team, where who was going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, everything was together, and then quite frankly, it bombed, and they went 8-8. No disrespect to Louis Riddick, I don't think there's a lot there on his resume, and quite frankly, if he was the genius that I think sometimes he makes himself out to be on television, why has he been without a job for 7 years? You know what I mean? So, and I know, and I'm not saying I'm right, I'm just giving you my opinion. I don't know how he would be as a general manager. I'm just telling you, flag number one is the fact he hasn't worked in the league for 8 years. Yeah. That's flag number one.
I mean, he might have been jobless by choice. I don't feel like doing that right now. Like some girls or some guys that
he wanted that Frisco job pretty bad, if you remember, a couple of years ago. I know he wanted that one. But yeah, I mean, to me, that says something. And again, just digging a little deeper and looking at some of his, his background. His background isn't so much the draft as much as he's been a pro personnel guy. And it's kind of been, because the way that it works, and Joique, you know this, you have, everybody gets together with the draft picks, but there's a designated, college scouting, department and guys, and then there's the designated director of player personnel that's looking at the NFL.
You hit the nail on the head. So to have a successful career at GM or president, you have to surround yourself around like-minded people, who understands your vision, understand what you're looking for, but also being able to have their own opinions and be able to show you, well, this guy might be successful. Take a look at this guy, and tell me what you think. I think it's never one person, right? The reason you're successful is bringing in a supporting cast, kind of like LeBron and the Lakers.
Yeah.
He has a supporting cast.
Yeah.
And so you have people around you that can help you to your, they can see your vision, who can take your, that can take your coaching, that can take your leadership and kind of add to it. That helps build culture, right? That helps to build a culture. That helps to build a tradition, a winning tradition, and it just has to be everyone trusting in each other. Players coming in, believing in the head coach, believing in his vision, and it's a lot, man. It's a lot that goes into becoming a successful team in any professional sport, right? Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, anything. So it's not going to be just the hire of the GM, but who are you going to surround him with? I know they have some good scouts there. They have Steve Neal that's there, great. He actually coached me in college from Ben Harbor, Michigan. Coached at a school in Indiana, coached at Wayne State.
He was a stud at Western too.
Oh, he was a stud.
I remember I was doing Toledo games at the time.
Did you see what he did to Florida, the Gators?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Took one for like 75.
He was a stud.
I'm
telling you right now, I saw him.
But I talked to him kind of just about the team and his vision for like the type of players that he like. I'll look at his draft board, and I'll see like where we take some of the guys and some of the guys that he had on his draft board versus the guys that we might have had or gotten, and it's like all these guys are successful in the league right now. He has the eye for that. Like I said, it's surrounding yourself around people who have a different vision, but believe in your vision and want to add guys into your vision. And also the GM getting a GM that doesn't have a big ego, that can take, okay, let me take a look at that. I don't know that, you know. So that's one big thing about NFL, any professional sport. Sometimes you might have guys who have egos, like I made it all the way here, you can't tell me anything. And that's a recipe for disaster.
Well, you know, to your point, one of the most famous, or I should say infamous, Matt Millen stories. Matt Millen came up earlier. You know what happened the one draft. Third round, they have a whole room. So they're in the other room, like Chad's in the other room right now, Chad Johnson. They're in the other room.
Chad, what up?
What's up, Chad? They're in the other room having the whole, and I'm sure you remember this, Corey. They're having the discussion about who they're going to take in the draft, right? So the whole room's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and everybody decides that they're going to take a particular player, okay? So Chad, the general manager at that point in time, then says, okay, cool, so we're in agreement. This is the guy we're going with, right? Yeah, we're going with this guy. Chad walks out of the room, picks up the phone, calls in who they're taking, and picks a name that nobody even came up about. And he was even asked about it. They were like, what happened in the 25 feet where you and your whole staff discussed who you were going to take? You picked a name, circled the name. What happened in the 25 feet between you walking out of the room and picking up the phone and calling the league and saying, this is who we're taking? And he goes, gut feeling. Well, at that point in time, you know what you're doing to me? You're telling me that the entire staff that you have are worthless piece of shits. That's what you're doing to me.
Yeah.
And if I was in that room, exactly the story you just told, if I was in that room, I'd be going, what am I doing here? Why am I here? He doesn't trust me. I mean, we made a consensus. It wasn't like this was divided. We all decided.
I never heard that story.
True story. You know that one, don't you, Corey? Brian Calhoun from Wisconsin, the Calhoun story? True story. True story.
That's crazy.
Those are the types.
mind-boggling.
Look it up, seriously. Look that story up. That's a true story.
Who did he pick?
He took Calhoun from Wisconsin, who basically stayed in the league for like 1 year. Running back out of Wisconsin, basically stayed in the league for 1 year and was done. At that point in time.
So who was on the list?
I don't know who it was. I was never told who it was.
Get the name.
Yeah, but now, you know what?
It would be a shame for them to have played 8 to 10 years, successful career.
Kenny said, wasn't that the Mike Williams draft? I think it was the same draft. I think it may have been, but it was Brian Calhoun. If I'm not mistaken, you guys out there fact check me. I think it was the third round. And they're all in there having their meeting, right? And everybody's in agreement. We're gonna take this guy. And then Matt walks up and says, well, I'm taking Brian Calhoun out of Wisconsin. Why? Why is he taking Brian Calhoun out of Wisconsin? Because he had a quote unquote gut feeling.
That's crazy.
I'm on that staff at that point in time. I'm putting out resumes going to other teams. It's like, I got no time for that. Corey, I want to get your take because I saw you shake your head. You made the same reaction that basically I do whenever somebody mentioned Louis Riddick's name. What's your take on the whole Louis Riddick thing? Because it's gaining fire around here, and I mean no disrespect. The guy's great on television. I think he's got as much business running a football team as Chad Johnson does, or Joique Bell does, or Sean Baligian does. So what's your take?
I'm just going to be honest. You took really the words right out of my mouth. Like, I have nothing else to add. I'm just like, oh, okay. I don't have nothing else to say. That was really it. I don't. Martin Mayock, that worked, but that's rare. It's rare. It's rare something like that works where a guy can come from the booth and come right down and be successful. And it's still the verdict is out on whether the Raiders are really successful. They're doing good. They have a chance to do better, but the verdict is out. So I don't think Louis Riddick is just going to be a good choice just because he can speak well on TV. Anybody can sound smart when they're analyzing it from afar, but when they get into it, it's a whole different story.
Well, and it's funny because, as I said, and we want to talk to Chad Johnson in a minute, it's based on what he's saying on television because what he's done in the actual front office hasn't worked. And I hope if they decide to go with Louis Riddick, I'm all for it. Okay, let's hope that he succeeds, okay? Yeah. I don't get why his name's so hot. Chad Johnson, the man behind Lady Jane's.
We got Chad Johnson in the building.
I'm going to borrow your mic over here, so I'll come over here for a little bit.
It's two mics.
Two mics?
Okay. Can I turn on? I got 5 now.
Okay, good.
Now.
Okay, so we're talking about Riddick. No, I mean, obviously he's a talent in the booth. I mean, he's a gift. I mean, you watch the game, he's intriguing, you love him, and he brings out the game. You know, running a whole team is much different than going on TV. And you know who people ain't talking about enough? And I heard Martha and the family and Sheila, you know, they want to go with somebody established in a team. And I heard he comes with a big ego, but when you do great things in the league, ego comes with it. And there's a person out there that built the Chiefs, left because he had a big ego, just went and built the Cleveland Browns. He left Cleveland because of big ego. And to me, John Dorsey is the man to bring in the best talent in the city and to turn the team around quick. And if John Dorsey don't get interviewed, I'd be disappointed as a fan and somebody that, you know, knows football pretty good, and he's a great name. It's whether or not he can get along with the Fords and the management. But as far as building a team,
he got it.
He's shown it 2 times, 2 organizations. What more do you need if you want someone truly established?
And Chad, you know what I was talking about earlier? Joique lived this. You can say whatever you want about the Ford ownership and how they haven't succeeded and everything, but don't use the word cheap. Money isn't an issue.
Or try. They'll spend any money, and they'll try as hard as they want.
But they'll let you know. I mean, the family will let you know off from the back. We do not run the football team. We don't know how to run a football team. So we step back and let the teams that know how to run the football team run the football team. But we're going to bring in the best people for the job. And I remember when Mr. Ford was the chairman of the team, he said that. He said, listen, I don't run a football team, but we're going to bring the best people in to put us in the best position to win. So. And
then when you go talk about head coaches, right? You know, I've had, you know, great relationships with active players and former players. And if we talked about Patricia, okay? I got friends that played for Matt Patricia that would say he made me a way better player, way more knowledgeable, just the most hated guy ever from all the guys that didn't like him per se. But as far as them learning the game and knowing where to be, he coached the game well on that aspect. That being said, to me, when you look at a head coach, and all the big names come up as who's ever defense or offense is good right this second, this year, last year, who's been good. But I can tell you, people that may be good in a different department of my company might not be great in another department. So the head coach to me is someone like, laugh all you want, a Deion Sanders. Someone that can come in and take over a locker room, bring camaraderie, have free agents want to come there and be able to uplift the whole room. Yep. Your job is to hire an awesome offensive coordinator. Your job is to hire an unbelievable defensive coordinator and your special teams coaches. But a true head coach's job is to bring that team together, the camaraderie, the fun, the excitement, and everybody feels as one. Not maybe somebody who's been calling plays real great for the last 2-3 years in Kansas City with Andy Reid. Maybe he is a good coach, but who says that he can take over a whole room? I guess you'd have to find out players and coaches.
He can take over a room.
Well, that would matter.
No, I play for Andy. He can take over a room.
Bieniemy?
I'm talking Bieniemy. His offensive coordinator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know Andy Reid can. I'm saying Bieniemy.
Remember how good he was at Colorado? People forget what a good-ass running back he was at Colorado. My man, like when Colorado started to take off under McCartney, damn good running back. Never happened in the NFL. You know who I love, Chad? I was telling Joique, I love Ed Dodds for the same reasons that you were talking about Dorsey. Here's a guy that's been a fantastic number 2 in Seattle, and he's been a fantastic number 2 in Indy. And he is a draft guy, not a pro personnel guy. Where I'm sorry, I think there's a big difference. You want to build, you want a draft guy. And everybody says that that's his forte. And you look at the mark that Seattle's made over the years with draft picks and what they've done in Indianapolis. That's what this franchise needs. We haven't done a good job getting talent out of the draft, man. No other way to say it.
I would agree in some cases, not to come in and take over your guys' show.
No, I'm glad you're coming. You're the only reason we're here.
Football.
So for people who don't know, Chad Johnson is the reason that me and Sean are here. Me and Chad met, 2011, 12?
Yeah,
earlier, about 10 years, about 8 years ago, and I remember we spent some time in Florida.
Of course.
And you tried to challenge me in basketball.
We were at Tully's house.
Yeah,
playing little hoops.
Little hoop. How'd that turn out?
Well, I mean, it was late at night. A lot of people there, a lot of stuff going on, Joique. I mean,
it was me, you, and Tia right here. That's
Yeah.
it. It was just us, and you tried to challenge us in hoop, man. You didn't do terrible though. You didn't do
well,
bad.
they try to use their body, their big bodies, post you up. You know, you get them on the outside, it ain't happening.
Somebody said Chad Johnson is a legend for helping start this network. Thank you, sir. Chad, I've known you for 18 years, and he is one of the biggest fired up sports fans that you could ever imagine. This is something, the timing was right for this. I mean, there's a void in this market, and you and Stick and Joey decided to get together and kind of fill that void. The timing was right.
Yeah, I mean, we're really excited about the network and the growth of it and the more shows that we're putting together right now and, you know, bringing you two legends on that, you know, even if we weren't together, I love you before this, right? You guys have, you know, been a part of supporting me and helping me, whether it's charity events, whether it's ads. I mean, you guys have always been humble, great dudes. So when they came to me and pitched me on this, you know, they had maybe a little bit smaller version of what they wanted to do, and I was like, but if you're coming to pick me, I ain't gonna do it small. We're gonna go and, you know, try to do this the best and, you know, give the city the love that they need and the teams, you know, call it straight, but yet, you know, show them love and not just bash the teams, you know. At the end of the day, if we're going home on a Sunday at 4:30 upset and sad, I guarantee the Fords are going home, their Sunday's ruined too. I think sometimes people don't realize it's not like they're home giggling and saying, look how rich I am. I mean, they've already have a great, blessed life. I mean, at this point in life, you're trying to compete and win, and they've done everything. Whether it was Matt Millen, good chance, go take it. We all wanted it. Go get Mariucci. We all wanted it. We all wanted to go get Patricia. And then I guess back to Bob Quinn, where I think that he kind of, you know, got sideways as maybe Patricia got into his ear too much. Because in some ways, if you look at the left tackle, you got a top 5 left tackle in the league. You got the best center in football.
Love him.
You have a top 5 tight end, if not top 3 out of the next 5 years, hands down. You got Galladay if you want to pay him. You have Swift looking like they're going to be a top 8 running back in the league in the next 24 to 12 months, right? So from a standpoint of Bob Quinn putting in some good pieces offensively in his offensive line, I just think he tried to do too many pieces for Matt on the defensive side, and it didn't work out for him and clearly cost him his job. I don't think Bob was as bad as Matt personally from watching it from afar and seeing, you know, when you got a top 5 left tackle drafted, top center drafted, top tight end drafted.
I mean, we went 0-16, so I don't I don't see that either.
Yeah, no doubt.
No doubt.
You know what? And I loved, and I've said this to Joy, I loved Bob's vision for the team. I did. And I think what happened is his vision was going like this, and then it kind of converged with Matt's.
Yes.
And I go back to the defensive side of the ball, and I mean you don't have an impact player there right now. There are a couple guys that could be. I think there are a couple corners that let's check things over in a year from now. But who else do you got? Who does a defense look at and game plan coming up this week? It's Tennessee. You think they're sitting there in the offensive room right now saying, we got to watch out for this guy or that? There's nobody on the defensive side of the ball that you're literally saying, we got to scheme against this guy. We got to, and that's frightening to me. And that's why, Chad, to that point, I agree with you 100%. There are great building blocks on the offensive side of the ball. What tells me this is going to be a rebuild is you have to redo that defense. You just do.
You have to. I mean, where do you start? Where do you start?
I think you need an impact player on the defensive line. I love Deshaun Hand, and it just hasn't happened since his rookie year. I was so excited for him, and it hasn't happened.
You know what made us so good in the 2014 season and the 2012 season is the D-line.
You got after the quarterback. 1,000.
Like the game is won in the 20.
Yeah, you had Fairley. Nick Fairley was one of the most athletic people that any of us see. Nick could do a 360 dunk. We seen him do a 360 dunk on a hoop, and he weighs 320.
Yeah, Nick. So you got to think we had Nick Fairley, we had Sue, we had Ziggy Ansah, we had Jason Jones, we had George, we had we didn't have Corey Williams that year.
That was such a damn good defense.
We had CJ. We had CJ.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's Jim Schwartz
Yeah,
really
CJ.
brought in that front to cover up his linebackers to let Tully move the way he did, and then Tully came in like third in the league in tackles. You know,
And then Levy came in second.
yeah, Levy was so they had a good line so the linebackers could do. And then what happened is they got rid of Schwartz. He's been our best coach in the last 20 years, I believe. And then they moved TA to the defensive coordinator, Terrell Austin, and he kind of changed up the defense and stuff like that. And you know, defensive schemes with the certain players you have can, you know, not go
But
as
you
well
know,
as
Schwartz he was a defensive coach. Though.
Sure.
He was a defensive coach, and so he was way harder on the defense, and he expected so much more from the defense than the offense. But he expected a lot from us. But he was a defensive coach. All right, and so like I told you, every Friday we'll have like the game show when they bring down a player from offense, a player from defense, and one player from special teams. Bring them down in front of the whole team, the GM, the president, the whole coaching staff, and he'll ask you different things from the game plan. When they're 3rd and 2, or he'll ask like, what's their highest blitzing percentage on what down and distance? You have to know. 3rd and 3 to 5 is where they blitz the most. 25% they blitz the most here. They blitz 12% at 3rd and 1 and 2, and you have to know all of these different things. And if you don't know it, then it shows them that you're not really studying, which ultimately so you don't care about your job. And so if you go out there on Sunday and you mess up, we know why. We know why, and you're out of here.
If you guys had Jim Bob Cooter in 2014 calling your offensive plays, I'm telling you that team could have done some damage in the playoffs. You'd have beaten Dallas's ass. I don't think you're in that position. You guys had Jim Bob Cooter calling with that defensive line you guys were just talking about, okay?
All of that.
I'm telling you, all day, that team
Joique
could
said
have done
works
some
up,
damage.
works up.
No, you know what? We had to check. We had to get you
No, we
on
had to get
number
you
one.
on. You said I had to knock on the window. Check, get in here.
Well, we want the ping pong table. I've been hearing about the ping pong.
That can
he's pretty
happen. That
good.
can happen. That can
But
happen.
most
Pass.
importantly, hey, dude, for real, thank you for making this happen. To all of you that are enjoying this, and we appreciate it, it's him. Seriously, it's him.
No, that's
Man,
all
right.
of them. It's
Stop
just a
it.
passion.
No.
For real,
You had the
guys.
vision.
Come
You had the
on.
vision. You pitched it to me because
Yes.
initially, you sold me on it.
Yes.
You sold me.
Yeah, I did.
This man can sell water to the ocean, man. You hear me?
I did.
This man can sell water to the ocean. It's only. What are you doing?
No, seriously, Chad, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No,
man.
thank you, guys.
Chad does so many
Chad.
great things in
Much love.
in the community as well. Go get your hair cut at Lady Jane's because it supports us. I did yesterday. I went to Wixom. My son and I went to Wixom yesterday. Say hi to Kimberly, by the way. Kimberly, thank you. All right, you guys out?
Are we out?
ready to go?
We out.
Yeah,
All right.
let's slide.
See you guys tomorrow. Later.
3
God
Tuesdays.
bless.
3, 2, 1.